Phew, I really didn't expect to make another video right away, but thanks to some extra information from Twinfinite and the Polygon interviews to our beloved Elite developers, there are some truly interesting and concerning, to say the least, things we must mention. So if you enjoy these hotcakes videos, I truly appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon link down below, and it makes this possible. So thank you! So starting right off the bat, let's go with the positive stuff before we get to the concerned portion. So first things first, according to Polygon, apparently there will be living creatures on the planets that you can map and then genome and whatnot else do with them. Basically, imagine No Man's Sky, or at least that's what I'm assuming. And here I go speculating right away, so, well, let me just read it. Stone said that one of the highlights will be new living creatures, based on complex in-fiction rules and logic. Also later on it's mentioned that basically just like everything else that you discover, you can place your name onto these things, and honestly, that sounds like a pretty decent thing to discover a space amoeba and have it named after you, I guess. The only interesting thing is gonna be how are they gonna look, or what they're gonna be, because frankly, if we have spore-like creatures from No Man's Sky, oh no, it's gonna look very weird, especially for the universe of Elite Dangerous. Oy. After that, another interesting and good thing will be the new player spaces, and let me quote this. Players should also expect to find new social spaces where they can meet and interact with each other in person. So yeah, basically social hubs that were already hinted a little while back, and I wasn't really sure if it was meant as such, but now being repeated and actually slightly expanded on the wording, it's nice to see at least semi-confirmed. We'll see how exactly it works, but I assume it's gonna be a armistice zone like I don't know, Star Citizen or something like that, where you can't kill each other and finally do some nonsense aside from just sitting on the landing pad and be safe. After that, from the Twinfinite article, they mentioned that there should be new POIs, the points of interest spawning on the planet's surfaces, with the space legs in mind. So, well, that's pretty much expected, to be frank. And so, as I scrolled a little bit more on that article, I started reading some concerning things. Starting with, how do you expect the change to go boots on the ground will change the core gameplay loop of the game? And our developer Hughes answers, I don't think it is in a way. I think it's going to expand it and add a bit more. It's going to allow players to play in a different way if they want to, but I don't think it's really a fundamental change. And here I gotta say, as personal first-person shooter fanatic, I can tell you, even just if you look at No Man's Sky or Star Citizen as a comparison point as to what could happen and what would happen, first person is it is a fundamental change. It adds a lot, or rather, it requires a lot. Of course, I'm being presumptuous here, but then again, the developer himself seemed to be presumptuous about the fact or unimportance of the first person, the closest interactability point, reference point to our own being, the immersion point. The fact the developer is so willing to seemingly dismiss that just shows, at least to me, that they don't care about that particular one. And as I read more and more on the other article, it kind of became also pretty clear what they are aiming or what they're not aiming for. So let's quickly return to the Polygon article and read the following. Developers are also considering allowing them, the players, to walk around inside their ships, exploring the vessels they have owned for years for the first time. The feature won't be available at launch when Elite Dangerous Odyssey comes to PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox One, sometime early 2021. Are you fucking kidding me now? What the fuck? literally the most important focal point of Elite Dangerous, the probably biggest draw to it, is the spaceships, like any other space sim seems to be these days. And are you telling us that this intimately learned and beloved feature of the game, this vehicle that seems to be so popular, is not going to be the part of exploring your surroundings, being immersed in the universe? Are you... What? And here's the thing, with Odyssey I may make jokes and so on and so forth just for the fun of it, poking fun at the PR team and their inadequacy. But for the update itself, I was completely open for any interpretation or any interesting thing that they may bring out, as long as it's good, and it still can be. But at this point, you're releasing Walking on Planets just like that, and literally the most requested and popular thing, in fact, the most hinted thing from way back in the day in Kickstarter, is basically just ignored? Are you so out of touch with your own community? Oh wait, they delivered the fucking fleet carriers. No, of course they are out of... Now that's the term for today. Developers, or rather the management, are out of touch. I mean, I just can't explain the stupidity behind this idea that, hey, the one thing that everyone, seems to be talking about these days about space likes and what else is to just unstick your ass from the seat, to walk around at least for once, to explore the nooks and crannies of your beloved ship. Nah, fuck that. We'll consider whether or not we are gonna allow you to do that one of these days. And the funniest thing is, Elite has always been compared to Star Citizen or vice versa. And it's like, okay, fine, you don't listen to your own community. Okay, maybe then you'll learn something from Star Citizen's community and what they like to do with the ships. Which is, run around and poke and prod every corner. Even I love to do that. No! Fuck that! Let's just put in as much procedurally generated planets as possible. And the saddest thing is that this is only the tip of the iceberg. As I read further, in the same place, other questions about gameplay details went unanswered. That's because principal designer Gareth Hughes said many of these details have yet to be finalized. Finalized? Are you fucking kidding me? It's already 3 years in development at the very least. How much more finalization do you need? Is this Star Citizen 2.0? The thing is, it reads all of these answers, in fact in the whole article, both of them. It feels like they just started development on it, and they're not even sure what they're gonna put out. As a matter of fact, I know that SpaceX as a concept, beta, whatnot else has been in development for a long time, even just as a test case. And the stupidest thing is, it continues, it just does not stop, like diarrhea. And I quote, "Also undecided is how players will transition from ships or wheeled vehicles on walking on foot." I mean, fucking Jesus! Are you kidding me? Is this not a farce? So it's not a guarantee that your character will be fully animated as it gets out of the seat, like in Star Citizen. And it might just be teleporting outside, just like with a rover. I mean, SRV. Imagine if your space legs worked just like SRV. I don't think a lot of us imagine that to be the scenario. But okay, let's say that, the higher-ups constantly pressured the team to constantly put out something in order to get profits. In a profit-driven sort of a perspective. Yeah, okay, I can see why things would be rushed as, like, multi-crew. But then I read the final portion of Twinfinite's article. Looking into the future of the longevity of Elite Dangerous, are there any plans to port to PS5 or Xbox Series X, the upcoming consoles, those that don't know? And Baton's answer is as follows. As for the platforms and where we're headed, I'll tell you that we're looking at PC, Xbox, and PS4. As far as we're pushing it to, it's not currently planned for PS5 or Xbox Series X. We're continuing to evaluate. And Hughes adds, when we deal with these platforms, we want it to be special. What is this? Like, this makes not even a business sense. Let's be frank. New console generation is coming out and a lot of people will buy the new console. Thus, it will increase a lot of people's influx onto whatever game manages to catch those space sim, space game, spaceship, or whatever other similar type of players. That game will rule the next console generation. And from the looks of things, Frontier thinks that that's not important. It makes no sense from the player benefit perspective. It doesn't look like it's beneficial for even the business. Elite, are they just letting it to die? What the fuck is going on? If there's one thing I was pretty certain they would do, it would be to go for the fucking money. But no, I guess the new consoles are not beneficial or profitable enough to even bother developing on them. The fucking designers are out of touch, the management is out of touch, and the business people are also out of touch. What? At least that's what I'm getting right now from these two articles alone. I dread to think what is going on behind the scenes. And the thing is, I wanted to see whether or not Odyssey could wow me and give it a chance. And yeah, again, as I said, I want to be, sometimes snarky, and I am, sure. But still, I try to stay off the speculation train, as much as possible. But when I see quotes like, oh, we're still evaluating, oh, we're not coming to PS5 or Xbox, oh, we don't even think that you should be able to go through your own ship, and fuck the VR, let alone. I mean, is animal hunting and social hubs really cool enough to bother? Like, really? And you know what? Do let me know down below, because this is just a shitfest, frankly speaking. And hey, if you enjoyed the shitfest being brought to you by yours truly, well, the least you could do is check out my Patreon link down below. I truly appreciate the support there. But for now, I really just need to go and lay down and just contemplate what's happening with Elite, frankly. Whether it's even worth looking for the future of it. It's concerning, as I said, and it's lightly put. Oh, God.